As I'm sure you're aware, we have a total solar eclipse coming through our part of Texas here in just about a week and a half. So I wanted to make this video specifically for our school population here at Holmes and NSITE in San Antonio. But if it gets shared widely, I'm going to give some general information as well. For those of you that don't know me, my name is James Hamrick. I'm part of the awesome math department here at Holmes and NSITE. But I'm a total space nerd in addition to a math nerd, and I'm super excited about April 8th coming up. So what I want to start with is just a full map of where the total eclipse is going to be visible. If you see on this map here, that blue line that goes across from the Pacific Ocean through some Mexico, a good chunk of a, a good chunk of the United States, some pretty major cities, and then on into eastern Canada, and then into the northern Atlantic. Anywhere along that center line, that blue line is going to get the most minutes of totality when the moon is completely covering the sun. But anywhere in between the two orange lines will also experience totality, just not for quite as long as in the middle. Um, be mindful if this does get shared along with other folks in other parts of the country. All the United States is going to see a partial eclipse, but anywhere outside those orange lines, it's only going to be a partial eclipse. They will not get to experience totality like we will within those lines. I'm going to put a link to this exact map and kind of how it works in the description down below. You can see up at the very top in the screenshot, there's an address bar where you can put your address specifically to where you're at. And the way that works is once you put your address in, you see a box like this, and it gives a bunch of information here. I'm going to go through this just real quickly. This is specifically for our campus at Holmes. You'll see the times there for the different parts of the eclipse. When the first part happens, is called C1. When totality starts, that's C2. When totality ends, that's C3. And then when the full partial phase ends and the moon goes on about its business, that is C4. You'll see the times are listed in what's called universal time. For us here in San Antonio, we'll need to subtract 5 hours for Central Daylight Time. Anywhere in the eastern part of the country, they subtract 4 hours, and so on. The Alt-ASI columns aren't terribly important. It's going to be pretty easy to find the sun, but that's just the location in the sky. The P and the V are showing the exact position of when the part of the moon is gonna appear to touch the part of the sun, kind of the location on the sun's disk where the moon touches. And then the LC, the last column, is actually a GPS accurate correction specific to the contours of the moon and when totality starts and ends. That's actually pretty important because that's going to tell us when the eclipse glasses, the viewing glasses, can come off and when they can go back on. So for our specific location at Holmes on the northwest side of San Antonio, you see on the screen right here. And this is down to the second, and the totality times include those corrections you saw on that previous screen. We're going to get just shy of 90 seconds of totality. And to be clear, this is very specific for one's location. As you get closer to the center line, they're getting some places over 4 minutes of totality. So it's very, very specific. If this does get shared with family members or someone in other parts of the country, make sure they're using the map that's linked down below, and it'll give the exact times for their location when all of these different phases begin. Want to talk next about some safety, and this is the most important part of this whole thing. During any of the partial phases, whether you're within the path or outside of the path or whatever, during all the partial phases, it is extremely important that you wear your viewing glasses, certified viewing glasses, at all times. Sunglasses are not enough. The consequence for not doing this is permanent and irreversible eye damage, and we don't want that to happen for anybody. So make sure that you have a pair of glasses and you have them on the entire time during the partial phases. If you happen to have an old pair of glasses, like from the annular eclipse back in the fall, if you have them in a drawer somewhere, get them out, hold them up against the light in your house, a bright light in your house. Check for any kind of pinholes or scratches. If there aren't any, fantastic. They can certainly still be used. But if you see any kind of imperfection in those lenses when you check them, throw them away and do not use those. Okay. By the way, I'm also going to put a link in the description for some resources where you can make sure your glasses are certified, and where you might be able to find some. A week and a half out might be kind of tough, but hopefully you already have some that are certified and ready to go. During totality, if you are in the path of totality, you should take your glasses off, because frankly, in that, for us, 89 seconds, it's going to be too dark to see anything. And you definitely want to see what happens during totality. You're going to be able to see the sun's prominences, and it's going to be pretty overwhelming when you do see that. So make sure, hopefully wherever you are, and wherever you're viewing it, have it on your phone or whatever. And then when totality starts, you can take your glasses off and enjoy that totality, but they have to be back on at the end of totality. So make sure you're keeping an eye on the time, because again, we don't want any kind of damages to anybody's eyes. If you happen to not have any solar eclipse viewing glasses, a fun, kind of interesting way to still see the partial phases, if you have a vegetable strainer or a colander at home, and like an old white sheet or even a couple pieces of paper, take them outside, because that colander works as what's called a pinhole camera. So you can hold the colander right above the sheet or the piece of paper, and just like you see in the picture there, it'll kind of show what the sun looks like at that time. And then again, even if you don't have glasses during totality, you can still enjoy what that looks like, and then go back to looking at your pinhole projection when totality ends. As far as taking pictures of the eclipse, I know we live in an age where we would want to kind of document everything electronically, and get the perfect Instagram selfie. But do be careful. Cameras, even phone cameras, are sensitive to being pointed directly at the sun, and you can do some damage to that. Um, so make sure you're not looking through any kind of eyepiece, whether it's binoculars or a telescope, unless they are fitted with a filter on the outside of the lens. Right? You never ever want to look through an eyepiece that's not equipped with a certified solar filter on the outside uh, of the equipment. For those of us at Holmes and NSITE, I'm going to have my whole setup, which looks kind of like the picture on the screen there. I am going to document the whole thing, all the partial phases, totality, all that stuff like that. But I got a remote trigger and a tracking, so I'm not going to be looking at the screen of the camera very much either. I really encourage you, I beg you, in fact, just live in the moment. Um, it's going to be a fantastic, it can really kind of change your life, seeing totality and seeing what this is. So I really encourage everybody to witness this with their own eyes. It's going to be something that you'll tell your grandkids about and remember for the rest of your life. A few other little tidbits that you might see during totality, and as it gets close to totality, animal behavior is going to be kind of weird. If there's bats in the area, they will start flying around because they're going to get confused. Nocturnal animals like raccoons, insect activity is going to increase, because again, they're just not going to know what's going on. The temperature may drop. The temperature could drop somewhere between 5 and 10 degrees, depending on location. And again, in the path of totality, it will be dark. You won't see as many stars as you see on the screen there, but there's definitely going to be stars out and visible, the brighter ones. And in fact, Jupiter and Venus will be visible during the eclipse. Jupiter, I believe, is going to be kind of above to the left of the sun, and then Venus is going to be just below to the right of the eclipse sun, again, during totality. So that's about it. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to drop them in the comments. And again, there's going to be a couple of links down below there also. Enjoy the day. It is going to be fantastic. I've been looking forward to this for many years. And just enjoy the experience. And again, if you have any questions, please leave a comment down below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Have a great day.